Okay, so this is Adventure Time Vlog. Who the hell is this guy? I'll tell you who this guy is. This is Jason Laws. You know, we were going through... You've seen him in a lot of stuff. You've seen him in, in the AI review. He was in Dragonboard. He was one of the crazy family members in Demo Reel. And pretty much, I was talking to him about Adventure Time because I was like, I'm having trouble getting through these vlogs. I don't know what to say. And he's like, well, I've seen the show. I am obsessed with the show. I love it. And if you ever need any help just talking about it, like, I have all the episodes, you know, memorizing stuff, well, practically, I mean, so I'll go ahead and help you out, and that's exactly what he's gonna do, because he knows what's gonna happen. Everyone's telling me, like, this show goes more interesting places, like, actually, like, really complex, emotionally interesting places, and so someone who has not seen it, and someone that has, can, you know, share a little insight on this. I just think that's a better way to go, so... For the next few episodes, because they're so short, you're going to see these clothes a lot. And this, sadly, my slick back hairstyle because I did a video game confession. But, yeah, so we are going to talk about this episode here. Tree Trunks. Ending sure threw me for a shock. I guess you were saying that, like, whenever it happens, like, you look and see people's reactions to it, right?
There's certain episodes and certain reveals or certain things that happen in episodes where... if you know it's coming, you just want to see people react, because like this one, it's kind of like, poof, and you're like, what the hell just happened there?
It scared the shit out of me. I was just like, what? And even though it's like, you see her in some sort of jewel thing at the end, so you sort of think like, okay, well, they'll probably bring her back somehow. The sick side of me was actually saying, they shouldn't have shown that. They should, even if they were going to bring her back, just have her blow up and never show anything else until, like, whatever, they have her back or something. So, that really threw me for a surprise. On top of it, again, I love how unpredictable the show is, but on top of it, I love this character, Tree Trunks. As soon as she showed up, I just love how, like, kind she is and sort of low-key and everything, and she really cracked me up, and so far, I think I like this episode the most because it seemed like, for lack of a better expression, it was sort of the most connected to another character. I just liked how much they liked Tree Trunks through this.
Tree Trunks is like their grandmother that they love, but at the same time, it's a bizarre love thing because if you look at Tree Trunks, how does she treat them? She talks to them about how she has sexual prowess, and I want to give you a kiss, and it's just kind of this uncomfortable, we love you, Tree Trunks, but you're kind of a bit creepy at the same time.
So it's... okay, you know, that's something I was going to actually sort of ask you, too, because in some of these shows... I mean, it's not like sexual stuff hasn't been shown in kid shows before, you know, but... it's strange actually hearing the word sexy, because they use it a couple times in this show, and especially just seeing like the cute little elephant say, I'm gonna be sexy, and so, it was really weird, and it's one of those things like, do you know, is that like common now in kid shows? Is that sort of like a common word that nobody cares about anymore, and I'm just an old fart?
Yeah, I think we're both old farts. No, it's definitely something that's become more common in kid shows, and just, if you look at just average TV, average TV is now, you can say, like, you can swear a little bit on TV, a little bit more stuff is able to go further, but when they do this and they toss in sexual, it's, you know, kids are kind of like, hee, and the adults are like, oh, wait, I see that a little bit different of a way.
I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, because I think, like, Ebert used to say, like, it's a strange world where you can, like in Austin Powers, I think you're saying you can show a person drinking shit, you just can't say shit. Yeah. And there is some truth in that, like, you know, you can show whatever, the X-Men or all these superheroes and super, you know, like, very well-endowed characters, like, showing off that they're very well-endowed, but if they say that they're sexy, it's like, oh, no. So, at the same time, it was kind of a shock hearing this, especially in such a cutesy show, hearing it, so it's nice and unpredictable. This whole show is unpredictable. I can't predict a thing that's going to happen in the show, but at the same time, it does sort of throw me for a loop, so I wasn't sure if that's just something I haven't watched enough kid shows. Is that more like a common word, or is that just... is that something different that this show does?
No, it's become kind of pretty much the norm at this point in time. They're more loose with what they say by comparison to when we were kids, without question.
Okay, so now, something you were bringing up, and everyone's bringing up, like, even when I was talking about should I keep these vlogs going, they're like, no, please, it gets really interesting, emotionally complex, all this stuff. Is this an episode that you would say, sort of, like, does this kind of stuff come back? Wait, I start to notice the snail. Because you're like, you see the snail? And I'm like, yeah. And you see the snail? Yeah. Like, what is the deal with the snail? And I guess, is there a deal with the snail? I mean, you don't have to tell me what it is, but does it actually come into play, or?
Well, in the beginning, it started off as kind of like an Easter egg. That and actually, throughout the whole show, each episode has a bunch of little Easter eggs hidden here and there, but that's like the consistent one. The snail appears in every episode, in one form or another, sometimes for split second, sometimes for a good few seconds.
Does he ever, like, get a full episode at all?
Actually, he becomes a very, very, very important character.
See, I'm, like, really fascinated by this now, because everyone's saying, like, no, like, I guess all these things come into play later, just without necessarily saying what or how. Are there other things in this episode that's like, yes, this is going to come into play later, it's going to be a big thing?
Oh, yeah. Almost every episode, it doesn't matter, like... I don't know if they were planning, like, well in advance, or if they kind of went back to the episodes and were like, you know what, we can use what was said here, and we'll place what is actually going on here and connect it back to episode 1. Everything kind of has a connection to something else. Characters will come back up later on. Almost no one is forgotten about.
Really?
Even if, like, a very minor character comes up and then you don't see him for, like, a bunch of episodes, they will eventually come back into play. Sometimes as a minor role, or sometimes as an actual major player in an episode.
That's so fascinating, because I would not predict that of this show. That's why I'm really fascinated now to keep watching, because so many people have been saying this, like that it does really pick up, or that it picks up at least in the phrase I keep using is emotional complexity, but that's a word everyone else keeps using, so, you know, I figure that's a good way to say it. The only other thing I'll ask, because you brought it up in this episode, is that, yes.
What did I do?
It's time. No, is what was it? You said something very important is going to be said here, and the dog says that Finn is 12. Mm-hmm. He said, now you know his age. It wasn't something I was saying like, yeah, what is his age? I wasn't asking that, but again, does that really play a part somewhere? Is that something important to remember? Or?
Well, yes and no. I mean, watching your past vlogs and everything, you were saying, you know, you don't know anything about these characters. They're kind of just tossed in your face.
Okay, now I know his age.
And that's the thing. Instead of it being like an episode where, like, first episode, you learn about everything, the show is a slow reveal of everything. And most of it's said pretty much in passing. You learn a lot of this stuff just because it's normal chit-chatter between them. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, don't worry about it, he's 12, he can handle it. Mm-hmm. Instead of it being like, he's 12 years old! You know, they handle it very much like natural conversation. Well, natural in this show.
Yeah, as natural as this show can be.
And the age is important because, and it's not really giving anything away by saying this, he grows with the show.
Oh, so like if a year goes by, he'll turn 13 and stuff?
Yes. His birthday is actually celebrated, and he ages as the show goes along.
Okay.
So it's
I like shows that do that actually, like, well, especially animated shows, because you never see that. Mm-hmm. So I like a show that can actually do that. So that's kind of cool. Actually, well, that's a great way to have the voice actor as he gets older, because if it is is it a he or is it a
no,
woman
it's a
doing the okay? Yeah, as he gets older, I mean, he's obviously the voice has got to change. So that's a good way to incorporate that in there. So. Cool. Yeah, already I have a lot more to talk about in this one, so yeah, you're going to be a great help. So the next, like, 5 or 6 of these, you'll probably see, like, the exact same setup here, or maybe some other people will be in on it, I don't know. His family's over there like, I don't know, just get me off camera! But I'm sure they can say great stuff, too. So maybe it'll just be 2 of us, maybe it'll be more, I don't know, but you'll see this setup in these exact same clothes for, like, the next 5 or 6.
Be more? Or is it, like, BMO? Go on.
Maybe this was a bad idea. Bye.